From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. Joining me on tonight's show, we have Allison.
Hello, hello.
Rob.
Hello.
Nathan.
Oh, Kungaloosh, everybody.
And Pete.
Hey, Sivako!
Hey, he's back. The one, the only, the original.
My Sunshine State friend now.
Yeah,
Yay.
welcome. I guess I really can't say welcome because I don't live there, but
Yeah,
congrats, I guess.
Welcome. Welcome.
Kicking off tonight's show, we have a small story. Small World of Magic Kingdom is going to be getting Disney characters added to it, which is something that you may have heard about before because this already exists in Tokyo, the world's most perfect theme park, according to Tom Corliss. So if you've ever been over there or seen videos of the ride over there, you can find a couple characters hiding here and there, like Peter Pan and Wendy. I'm kind of excited for this. I thought this was actually a really neat and cool idea when they did it in Tokyo, and I don't have a problem with this. How do other people feel about it?
Well, I think this is a better alternative than what they did in Disneyland, which was have those like weird puppets. Like they weren't actual they weren't figures in the show. They were like toys. I don't know how to explain it. They were super weird because they felt sort of not a part of the aesthetic, but then Tokyo is a much better call. I am shocked this hasn't happened sooner. Shocked. So, I think it's fine. If that ride needs to go down for full refurb, I'm totally for it because it's looking kind of a mess. It's a wonderful ride, and this really doesn't like take anything away as long as they're not taking things out to sort of put these in. Like I don't really have an issue with it. They're not changing the theme song, so.
Nathan, have you ridden the one in California?
Yeah, I have.
Have you ridden the one in California? Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about them not being like the real deal, I mean, I know that there are a couple of them that are not, like Woody at the end is kind of more of a toy.
Yeah, there's a few that are, but
like Alice is like Alice as a Small World doll, right? I mean, so there are
that's what's
that
weird.
I think fit into the aesthetic that I think it's very cool.
Yeah,
I just thought it was strange the choices, I guess is what I'm saying. Is I don't have a problem with it, but like I kind of wanted to be like either immerse them fully in or don't, but the fact that they sort of did a middle road and some were, and it was just sort of a strange pattern. I feel like what they did is that they fixed it in Tokyo. The issues I had were fixed with the Tokyo version, so I'm happy if that's the model, which I'm guessing it is. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Nope.
Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead.
I'm not generally a purist with anything in the parks, but I am with Mary Blair art, so it's sad to see anything that she designed changed. That said, this has been the ride maintenance forgot really since 2003. And like a brief period, like 10 years later, it was refurbed and it looked good for a couple of years, and now it's back in disrepair again. So I'm glad it'll get some love. And as long as they're matching the Mary Blair style, I'm okay with it. But I still kind of would like them to leave it alone entirely. Sorry about that, Pete. Go ahead.
No, not at all. First of all, it's nice to be back. Hello, everyone, again. So, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. One, you cannot take It's a Small World out of the park. People would go absolutely bananas. So all you can do is refresh it, although refreshing it would never bring a new crowd per se. So it's not like you could headline like, it's going down for refurb and coming back bigger and better than ever. You're not drawing attendance that way. People would just come and check it out whenever they came. So the perfect time to do this is the 50th anniversary, where it's 50 new things for 50 years. And they can get away with doing this. So this is the perfect time to do it. I loved the version of Disneyland. I loved the Japan version even better via video, albeit, and I saw the Disneyland one in person. But this is perfect. So let's refresh it, and it becomes like a fun scavenger hunt to find the characters in every country. So this is the perfect spot to do it, the perfect time to do it. It makes Small World a little more rideable. I know I'm like Allison. Like, I never go on this because it's once you do it, you can't do it that often.
But speaking of scavenger hunts, though.
People are horrible. You got to ride it all the time. It's a must.
That means you need therapy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I think
It's
we
good.
all
It just-
do,
it
but
just
that's
looks
a side
bad.
note. Yeah.
That's like
It's
when your
better
mom
now
comes
than
into
it
your
was.
room to write like "I will not do something" 100 times. That's the Small World song on that ride over and over again.
Well,
I will
it's
not
all
ride
better
this
than
ride
it.
again.
It's all better than it used to be because there used to be asbestos in the ceiling, and there's not anymore. So it's
Oh,
already better
yeah,
than
that's
it
good.
was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about asbestos later on because I have that to talk about later on.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
All right.
interesting.
I'm not letting you take away my segue, though. Speaking of scavenger hunts in the parks,
Great segue.
the Leave It Legacy monoliths are actively being removed at this point. The end of an era has arrived at Epcot. I agree with that sentiment entirely. Like, I do not recall this entrance area existing without these giant slabs of rock with faces on them. And I'm not particularly fond of them, but it's just weird that they're not gonna be there.
Who said it best?
Wait,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Let me just.
No,
All right,
I
I'll
was
go
gonna
ahead. I just want to. I'll let you guys talk about it, but I first want to apologize because I know she's probably watching, and by probably I mean 0% chance. But my girlfriend of 2003, who was on that monolith with me, and I said we would last forever, and then you broke up with me the next day.
Oh,
So sorry that it's over. Now there's no more proof of that. So you know what? Knock it down. Knock it down. It was time to go. It was
Mr.
time to go.
Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Yeah.
Tear down this
Yeah,
wall.
this is going to be so what who cares category with other stuff we're going to get into later. But yeah, so what who cares?
No, I mean, I really care. I really care because I care in the way of like get these things out of here. Like, oh my gosh, if I think I might be the only one on the call that's had the experience of going into the pathway where they've already been demolished. And it's just, I literally ran. I sprinted. I looked like, Julie Andrews in Sound of Music. I just like put my arms out and was like, look at me, like look at all this space here. Like
you make references
it's
we
amazing.
all understand.
I understood that
reference
reference.
for our generation.
So other than Pete, I mean, I actually had we had a ton of them on there because they were cheap. It was like $20 or $10 or something, and sometimes they threw them in. They threw them in with your trip, hey, you bought this package. It also includes a Leave a Legacy. So I thought it was a cool thing at the time. I thought it was cool up till now. I definitely get getting rid of them, though, at the same time. But the thing that always kind of strikes me about the entrance to Epcot is it's not like the entrance to all the other parks. I mean, with the exception of Animal Kingdom, all the rest of them, when you walk in and you're dramatically into whatever it is. You're going to have kind of like a football field of open grass area to Spaceship Earth when this opens up. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like when they get them gone. But I thought it was cool when they were there, but I do think it's time for them to go.
I mean, I'm just excited for more green grass space at Epcot. As an AP, I love to go and I read at Epcot when it's nice out. And you can do that right now at Guardians of the Galaxy area because there's nothing going on. It's real quiet. But just the more green space they want to put in, the better. I'm happy with that. So it works for me. I always laugh now because someone mentioned to me that in the Marvel universe, these are actually the memorial for those who died at the snap in Orlando. It's just,
oh my god!
I just hope that they go to a good place, like perhaps Nickelodeon wants to buy them and make a real life aggro Crag from Guts.
Oh my gosh! Yes, please.
It looks like the aggro Crag.
It does.
We can climb our faces. It'll be so exciting. Dude, you have it.
Talk about things of our generation.
Oh gosh.
Oh, sorry. Let's talk about the Sound of Music.
Let's talk about the Sound of Silence. The sheer silence of rides in these parks right now. Primeval Whirl is still closed. It's now going to be closed through September 28th. But it might actually be closed longer than that because there have been fast passes that have been canceled beyond September 28th. Side note, why did you book that fast pass? You don't need it.
Or they were smart and they wanted a better fast pass.
We've now got...
if you Dinosaur, you can get it now. Because if you had Primeval World before, they're moving all of those to Dinosaur. So
no, they actually moved some to Expedition Everest, too. They weren't letting you make the choice.
So we now have fire curtains deploying for no good reason in Toy Story Mania, just in the queue area. We have the Astro Orbiter that is still closed and will remain closed until August 14th if that doesn't get pushed back like all the other maintenance reopenings have at this point. I'm concerned. There are problems. Pete, save me.
This is my asbestos talk right here. So first, we'll lead with that monstrosity in Dino Land. Thank God it's not running. This is perfect proof to get rid of the entire land. Get rid of it. It's your best attraction, yet the company who made it is bankrupt and out of business. You can't get parts for it. You can't fix it. It's not fun to begin with. It is a cheap thrill that you could find anywhere around the world at any time, and probably a better version. Get rid of it. Thank God this is broken down. It makes me happy. Second, the firewall at Toy Story Land. So it's fun to see firewalls. I dealt with removing asbestos and lead and supervising that in schools for many years, and that was my thing, if you will.
God bless you.
This is kind of like the worst, best problem I have. The fact that you get to see some of these things that no one thinks about. Fire curtains, for a long time, even on Broadway shows in New York City, and most Broadway theaters still have the curtains on stage are threaded with asbestos to prevent fire from hitting the audience if the stage catches fire, or the stage if the audience catches fire. It is like a legit fire curtain. So the fact that we could find these fire curtains throughout the queue in Toy Story Land makes me, as a construction manager, a happy man to see that Disney has thought about these things. This should be an easy fix. I don't know how they didn't just like hoist this thing up and fix it overnight. They should have many more fire curtains. So letting the queue go through for a day while you fix it overnight and figure out how to get these things back up shouldn't be this big of an issue. So I'm hoping it's fixed very
it might already be fixed for all we know.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. But I think this is, I keep calling it Primeval World Gate because I think it's like this weird, like, some people are like, oh man, like, what does this say about the company? Others like, who cares? It's a stupid ride. And I mean, I enjoyed this ride, but I also didn't miss the last couple of times I was there. And it, I don't know. It's just weird to me that it's taking them this long. Like, maybe it is because they can't get parts. And
there's no parts available.
And for me, that's some terrible foresight to not think that you're going to need parts and have them available for, so they have them for every other ride, I promise you. So it's the idea that they are like,
but this company is out of business.
I know,
but
to kind of give the company some credit, like they might have got parts, like they may have bought backup parts and then used them. Like I could easily see this ride going through parts at a clip that they were not expecting, and then they went to go reorder more backlog parts, and the company had folded, so now they're up a creek with no paddle. Like,
but that would mean that they didn't know that beforehand.
What they can do very easily here is just put up another carnival attraction, do Dino Gravitron, and it's going to cost them like $35, and everyone's going to flock to it, and just remove this if it's going to keep going. But the real thing is, I don't know how many more weeks I'm going to get to say this. We'll say it again. So what? Who cares? And we'll move on to the firewall thing, because I'm really concerned about one issue here, and that issue is the guest parading in the backstage areas to get through the queue, which is just really bad show. And it's depressing, and no one wants to see that when they come to Disney World and go for a particular level of show, and this is really bad form. So they've got to get this. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to keep a curtain up. They've got to get engineers on it and fix it so that they're not parading guests through these areas.
Well, and I don't understand the legality. I was just going to say I don't understand the legality of just leaving it down. Like, so it's down. How is that less of a problem and more of a distraction than taking people backstage? Like, it's just a curtain. It's just down. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
But don't they have to figure out what caused it to fall down, and then do like some research as to how to make that not happen again and make sure it's safe? Yeah, I mean that part I totally understand them leaving it in place. That's like if somebody breaks something, you go, wait a minute, let me come and take a look at what happened, and let me see if I can fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again. So that part makes sense to me. But what Allison was talking about the backstage areas, like I feel like that happens more and more. Like the backstage at Space Mountain when they were letting people out the back while they were redoing that entrance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were literally walking behind the building and across the train track. I mean, as far as like kind of temporary goes, that lasted for a long time. I think a lot longer than it should have. And then when I went to ride Smuggler's Run in California, they literally take you backstage for some of the queue, and I was shocked. Especially with something like as large as that is, to walk backstage. They had tape on the ground, so it was clearly kind of like this is sort of a short-term thing, but you were backstage, you could see the back of the rocks, you could see that kind of stuff, and I'm thinking for a land that's that immersive, and that's going to be, potentially that like big a deal, how could you not have planned for the queue area? So I know it's off topic from the whole construction thing, but I feel like they do that more often than they should have, or than they should.
Yeah.
I think one final note about Primeval Whirl, it must be a larger issue than one sort of thing being a problem. They have two sides to that ride, and you could easily run one if one side was broken, and at least you'd have a half capacity. The fact that both are shut down, that means to me that there's a safety issue or some larger electrical, some operating problem. Because there's no other reason you would close the entire thing when generally during a day they're only running half anyway. So it must be something pretty big.
Yeah, just to put a cap on this, I'm not sure if we read it here from someone else I talked to, but that it was supposed to open one day, and then they did the safety check in the morning, and they were like, something's not right, and it shut down was supposed to be for a few hours, and now it's still closed. So it's probably a safety issue.
I'll believe it. In which case, good on you for keeping it closed, but
speaking of safety, Canada.
Oh yeah, that Canada pavilion's so dangerous. Oh my gosh, I'm glad they closed that.
That is the worst.
A great segue. That was a really super helpful.
Sitting on the lean rails is very dangerous.
Yeah, they are for leaning.
They're not meant to support the weight of you or your children.
Oh, I missed that. But I'm gonna also miss O Canada. It's been there in one form or another for quite some time. I'm very glad that we documented this. Big thank you to Nathan for going out and recording.
Annie, our reporter Annie recorded it. I simply edited it together. So
big props for editing this, because this 360 is kind of sweet. And
it's not in full 4K in his video.
And we should say not Annie the Anteater from Disney's Animal Kingdom. Actually, our reporter Annie did a great job.
I don't think anyone was confused.
I was.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun to put together, and once you get to watch this like 4 or 5 times in a row, basically, because you're editing it and figuring it out, you gain a different sort of appreciation for it, I would say, and it's funny. It's like a legitimately good Circle Vision film. I went and saw this with my wife. I think it was a couple days before it closed, and then we also did China, and this is so much more fun than China. China is very boring. It's fun to watch, but it's just sort of a travelogue still. And I really like this, and I'm sad it's gone. The thing that if people don't want to do it in the 3D, which you can do on Xbox as well, and the internet and your phone and all that, I also put together a what I'm calling flat O-Vision version.
I love it.
I love that title. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun because I just flatted I kept it flat. So I put the 3D and 2D, because this wouldn't be good for any other like stuff to watch. But in a Circle Vision movie, it's amazing because you get to watch it as one big, probably how the Imagineers sort of saw it when they were putting it together. And you just get to see sort of how they think through it. Yeah.
Yeah, the flat vision version I thought was better than the other one, because it was, like you said, you get to see everything at once without keep moving your eyes or in your peripheral vision.
Yeah, it's legitimate. I mean, this is literally something you can't see in the parks. You never could. So it's really interesting. So, but yeah, thanks to Andy for recording it.
Best. He must be a professor.
We're gonna do more of this 360 stuff. So if people listening really like that, please let us know what you would like to see in 360.
Yeah,
and we're gonna do our best to do some more of it. And Galaxy's Edge is opening soon, so some 360 of that is definitely gonna happen.
Can I just say, well, and again, I loved watching this, Nathan, so thanks for putting it together. But I watched the original O Canada, the one before this, and I, as a kid, really kind of dug it. But it was the song that I loved so much after we left. And then, the fact that they used the song in this one too, I hope that they kind of find a way to weave it in, maybe a more modern version, into whatever comes next, because I feel like that's kind of the thread that's held it together over the first two. It would be really nice to have that in the third one.
Yeah.
Do you think if we recorded Soarin' in Flatovision, the Eiffel Tower would be straight? I'm just throwing that out there.
Very possible. I don't know, because I'm looking at it in Flatovision when I'm there, and it's not straight either. So probably not.
It's a curved screen, to be fair.
Moving on from there, I don't have a great transition here either, but you can now
move on until you get a good transition.
Speaking of things in 3D,
great up north to
a galaxy far, far away.
There, okay.
A country far, far away to a galaxy far, far away. There we go. We did it. You can now book reservations for Oga's Cantina, Savi's Workshop, and the Droid Depot at Galaxy's Edge and Studios. So that is the one in Florida that's not quite open yet. But I will point out that currently this is a live view of the Disney World website. Frequently asked questions: will dining reservations be available for food and beverage locations in Galaxy's Edge? Answer: no. Like hard stop, no. Not even not currently. Just no. This will not be available for any food and beverage locations. And yet here we are being able to make them.
And yet I have one currently.
I'm just going to say that the website might need to get some scruples.
Yeah.
But seriously, I'm glad that they're doing this. I think that's something we're gonna need in the park down here. I think we're gonna end up swarmed, and being able to get reservations for these is a necessity. So I'm glad they're doing it.
I think is kind of fascinating is we never heard anything, and at this point I had sort of assumed it wasn't happening, but you're like, well, are they going to do a reservation system like Disneyland? Are you going to have like a certain amount of hours that you can be in there? Like, how are they going to do it? And like, we sort of just decided, I guess they're not going to do any of that, and they're just going to open the door and be like, here you go, like, here's everything. And I think this sort of confirms it, because like there is no connection to needing some sort of set time, but you can have a reservation pretty much whenever you want. So I think that just sort of, I don't think we had ever thought that they were doing like what they did at Disneyland, but I think that it's just nice to go like, oh, okay, nope, this is its own thing, 100%. And if you want to see me and hang out with me, I'll be there at 11:45 on August 29th at Oga's Cantina, so come get me a drink or something.
You know what I thought was neat about the Disneyland one? The second iteration of it is what I went to, so I wasn't there for the first part of it, but the second part where at 7 a.m. every day they let you put in a reservation for Oga's or Savi's, and it reset every day, so everybody had an equal chance. It was kind of cool that they did it that way, and once we got in, we didn't actually have a time frame where we had to get out. Although we went there as like a breakfast thing, and they were out of lava rolls, so that was kind of disappointing. But the idea of them having the reservations now, or the way they have them at Disneyland, is you have to have a reservation to get in. I don't know if that's going to change, but you can't do standby, and I don't know, have they decided if that's an opportunity in Florida that they're suggesting reservations, but you can do standby, or is it reservation only?
I don't think we know at this point.
Yeah, I don't think we know. But I would say that they would have told us, I think, by now. If it mattered, I think they would have told us. But again, the website is wrong entirely. So I asked
the question, which Disney can't answer, and I asked our staff as well, is that what if I just want to go hang out at Savi's or the Droid Depot, but I don't want to buy anything? Can I still make a reservation?
You can't hang out at Savi's.
I just want to go look at it and see it. I don't want to. I'm not a merch guy, like everyone knows. I like to spend my money on food and beverage and experiences. Give me tours, food and beverage. So it's a shame I can't do that.
And limited edition magic bands.
Yeah.
And limited edition magic bands are my thing. That is for sure. There's a whole pile of them right there. I'm going to build a display case. But so that kind of hurt me, but I will be at Oga's as well. And if you want to hang out with me, like Nathan said, August 21st, 5 to 9, I'll be at Galaxy then.
I will be there September 29th in the morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. when we've got the special. And I think, by the way, that's how Disney World is getting around the reservation system is because they have a huge number of resorts that are on property, and so offering the 3 hours in the morning is one way to get around needing reservations for everything else. Where Disneyland just works differently because of all the APs that are there.
And, hey Pete, let me just tell you though, Savi's is you have to be in there buying a saber or go with somebody. So if you can talk Nathan into going and buying one and then go in as his +1, you could absolutely do that. But it's the way it's set up is a very like locked off. Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna say it's nice to have rich friends like Nathan.
No.
It's a locked off, it's intimate setting when you do that, but when you do Droid Depot, it's kind of wide open. So when you do Droid Depot, even if you need a reservation, you can still walk in and look at what people are doing. So that one's not going to be a big issue.
I can walk in and be like, you know what? These droids are not for me.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
It's not the droid I demanded. I've seen way better of the block.
You need to watch Star Wars, dude.
I am. I'm close. I'm already 3 in. I'm 3 in.
Oh no, not those 3.
Not those 3.
It gets better. It gets better.
Hashtag it gets better. Yeah.
All right, and the last story for tonight, also on the topic of Galaxy's Edge. It seemed for a while there that the crowds in Galaxy's Edge had been a little bit lower. Or in Disneyland as a whole, I should say, we're a little bit lower, and Disney has finally admitted that that was actually the case. On an earnings call earlier this week, they were forced to confront the fact that Disneyland attendance essentially just went down as a result of Galaxy's Edge opening, which is kind of shocking. But then when you consider the amount of annual pass blackouts that they did for this opening, it starts to make sense again. The metric that they tried to spin on that, if I remember correctly, was yes, attendance was down, but paid attendance went up.
Yeah, way to look not greedy, Disney. This is just you dumb idiots. That's what I want to say. Like they totally psyched everyone out, and they freaked everyone out, and they're like, nobody could come in, and we're gonna have people at the door, and you gotta get a reservation, blah, blah, blah. And everyone said it's not. And no, it's too much work. And then they're like, oh, and you're also not going to get the main ride, just so you know, but you'll have to go through Fort Knox to enjoy, half of a lava roll that we got left. Then people were like, no, I'm not going to do it. And they're kind of shocked that it didn't work. And it's of course it didn't, you dumb idiots. You did it all wrong. And if they would have just treated this a little bit more like a conventional land opening, and said we're excited and there's no reason to freak out, and then I would rather them be with a surplus of people and then having to have all these plans behind that they go, okay, due to overwhelming love of this thing, we're now going to initiate this plan and this plan and this plan, and we would kind of complain, but we would go okay, it makes sense, they have a reason. Instead, they built 8 walls between 3 people.
You're critiquing the parks for having easier access for certain people. So listen, here's the deal. When I got the lineup for tonight's stories, I emailed a few travel agent friends of mine because I really wanted to know what it was like out there on the front lines. And this was the best response I got, and I'm just going to read it right from my phone. And she said, I think it was pointless to open up Galaxy Edge in 2 phases. That's the only travel. A lot of people travel to Disney only once a year, once every few years, and they aren't going to plan a trip to see a partial opening. I think these hotels and everyone else who had the hype, and though they don't have the budgets, yada, yada, yada. I'm skipping ahead. As far as Disneyland numbers go, they were down, yes. Not a huge amount, but definitely a slower period than normal. My boss here was at several events with higher-ups who made it clear to her that attendance was low as well and gave us incentives to book Disneyland as well. I think the Star Wars hype caused that. I think people either avoided it, fearing crowds, or they're waiting because they don't want to see just a partial land. I did love the way they did their booking system for it, and it did keep everything running smoothly. As a travel agent myself, my August and September sales at Walt Disney World are actually up. I don't think this has any. I don't think the opening has any effect on this, and I don't think anyone is going especially for the opening. I'm just saying this, of course, but I can't wait to see what happens. Yada yada yada. A lot of people are waiting until 2020 to see how many works with all the new rides and the completed full version of Galaxy's Edge. I hope this helps. So that is from a travel agent, and a lot of the other people I emailed and talked to said very similar sentiments. So there it is right there.
That's fair.
Well, I would definitely like to talk more.
Land, don't open the C ticket attraction. Open the H ticket attraction, and then later follow up with the C ticket attraction.
I think they could have they would have if they could have there.
I definitely want to talk more about that in post show though, because I have some thoughts as well. So I think that's a good one.
That's where we're kicking off tonight's post show. If you
I'm sorry about going there.
Oh no, it's okay. But if you are interested in watching that post show, if you are watching us on Crowdcast via Patreon, congrats. Just stay tuned, and we'll be right back with that. If not, head on over there if you're a Wigs member, or if you're not, head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support this show and all the other shows that we produce, get access to the post shows for this show, for news tonight, and a whole bunch of other perks that we've got hidden over there. So head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT and check that out if you haven't already. Also, speaking of travel agents, this show is brought to you, and all the other shows that we have on WDWNT, it's brought to you by Never Grow Up Vacations, the official travel partner of WDWNT. Never Grow Up Vacations is an authorized Disney vacation planner whose focus is in making magic for their clients, and with over 20 years of experience booking Disney vacations, we're sure they can help you make your next trip even more magical, even if it's only to a partial land. Head on over to wdwnt.travel to contact them about your next trip today. That is going to do it for the main show for tonight. If you folks are listening to this and would prefer a more visual version of the show, you can find us on youtube.com/WDWNT. Subscribe and hit the bell there to get notified every time we go live, which is Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also find the audio version of this show just search for ParksCenter wherever fine podcasts are sold, and you should be able to find us relatively easily.
Is that one or two words, ParksCenter?
That is one word, ParksCenter, with an S in the middle.
Shout out to one of our listeners every week, Pink Pearl Disney Wishes. Happy birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
All right, if you're sticking around for the post show, we will see you for that. Otherwise, we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.